Hey, what's up, guys? Dale Valor here from Modern Valor Dating, and we're doing a little reset because last night, I was going to be going live and doing a Q&A session with Taylor Mathis, and we had to reschedule due to some circumstances, and so we're bringing it to you tonight, and it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm just waiting for her to hop on here, and we'll get it popping. But if I'll just throw out a couple of announcements real quick until she does. Firstly, if you guys have any kind of dating or relationship questions, make sure you throw them out there, or any kind of topics, because we are happy to chop it up with you, because that's what we're here for. Second to that, if you haven't checked out our YouTube channel, click the link in the bio. We drop videos at least 3 times a week. And, we're always dropping new content and new stuff that, I think is informational, and I think it's entertaining as well. So, we want to make sure that you're always covered, that you're always getting the kind of information that you need to have when getting out there and making approaches and trying to, try to get your dating life where you want it to be, So, guys. Definitely appreciate all you guys that are, that come into the live feeds here. And every time that we go IGTV, there's always a lot of you guys that hop on here, and I definitely appreciate it. And, this page has just been growing and growing and growing, and I definitely appreciate that. What's up, Themba? I see you. Thanks for hopping in here, bro. Dude, that book recommendation, I guess it really wasn't a recommendation, but you had asked me about Chris Voss, and man, that book is fire, man. Definitely something that if you're an aspiring entrepreneur, it's something good to check out and good to get the information out of and apply it to your business plan and your professional life. I think it's a monster, man. It is definitely a beast. So I'm just waiting on, what's up, Mason? I see you. Thanks for hopping in here, bro. Just waiting on Taylor, and then we're going to get this thing popping. So if you guys have any kind of dating or relationship questions, make sure you throw them out there, because that's what we're here to do. You can even throw them out now, and I will circle back to them after she hops on, and we'll address it and everything. She is I know she has a podcast, and she's really big into like Chicago sports and everything, but she's also an Instagram model. And what's going on? Oh, there she is right there. All right, I'm going to pull her up now. And we will definitely get it popping, So, looking forward to it. Hey, what's up?
Hi, how are you?
Good. How was the shoot yesterday?
It was good. It was for a athletic wear company, so it was
Gotcha.
fun. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, listen, I definitely appreciate you coming on with me and answering these guys' questions, and you know what I mean? Like, it's good to have a woman's perspective on these types of things from time to time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, some of you guys may not know who I am. Some of you do. I'm a professional dating coach, and I help men communicate with women better.
Awesome.
So that's how I get down, and that's what I do, So, and you being from Chicago, me and you really shouldn't be getting along, me being
Where are you
here.
from? You have a strong accent.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I'm from Detroit.
Oh, really? Well, I can
Yeah.
hear it's a Midwesternish accent. I feel like I have the same one. I can hear your vowels. They're like the same as mine.
I got you. At least it isn't like one of those, I don't know if you know a Northern Michigan accent, but that is brutal.
Really
it's
good?
It's like watching Fargo is what it's like. But you know what? You have a podcast, correct?
I do have a podcast.
Okay, throw it out there.
So it's called Brunch and Ball. You can find it on iTunes for Apple users, and then Podbean for Android. And then we also do live video with it. So we record every other Sunday. So 2 episodes a month. Our YouTube channel is called Beauty in the Baseball. It's just under my YouTube that I have.
Right.
I do a lot of fashion videos, makeup, stuff like that. But then I also do a lot of sports content videos on there as well. So
Yeah.
we have our podcast. It is about sports, but then we also talk actually dating as well.
Nice.
Yeah, we talk athletes' dating lives, and then we kind of throw out some of our own dating advice as well. My co-host is
Okay.
so we get
Very cool.
things and guy side of things.
Oh, that's dope. Okay, very cool. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, so we got a question already. And listen, guys, if you have any kind of dating or relationship questions, throw them out there. We're going to be here for the next, 50 minutes, something like that. And, throw them out there. Or if you have a topic you want us to touch on, throw it out. That's what we're here for. And as you heard, she also does dating advice on her podcast. So she's no amateur. This isn't amateur hour tonight.
Talking about a little. I don't know how much I know what I'm talking about because I'm clearly still single. So who knows?
All right. Well, I guess we're going to find out. All right. So I saw a question came up and said, where is somewhere that I can meet women? All right. Now, the thing about that is obviously it's contextual. If the guy lives on a houseboat in the middle of the ocean or something, who's he going to meet, right? So, but I mean, in the general sense, where do you think would be a good place for your average everyday guy to meet women?
It's a little hard because Corona, so certain things are not open that normally would be open. But I would say, I think it all depends a lot on your personality, too. I'm a very outgoing person. I'm super easy to talk to. If you're like a place that I would go to meet people, it's going to be bars, restaurants, things like that.
Right.
Like where I would go. I guess it also depends, like, if you're not a bars type of person, you're not a drinker, you don't really like to go out, all of that kind of stuff. I would say, I know I live in a bigger city here in Scottsdale. I mean, joining, if you're really into baseball, say, maybe, join a softball league or something like that, like a co-ed softball league. Do things go places that you think somebody might have a mutual interest with you. And
I agree with you 1,000%. Here's the thing, man. Much to what Taylor said, whatever your interests are, however you get down, don't force yourself into a place that's going to necessarily make you feel awkward because it's not your cup of tea, right? So, I'm much like you. I take guys out that students I have every weekend to bars and clubs. All right, that's my get down. I'm just like that, right?
Right.
Not everybody is an extroverted type of person.
Right.
Some people are introverted. One thing I can tell you is, look, if there's an interest that you have, having something that, like you said, something in common, I think one of the good things to check out would be meetup.com. Case in point, all right, I started a wine tasting group on meetup.com at one point in time. It wasn't to meet women, but it was because I wanted to learn more about wine. I didn't know shit about it. I can hardly uncork a bottle. But I had an interest in it. And there wasn't any good groups in my area that kind of facilitated that. So I started my own. And I got automatic respect for being the administrator of that group and the person coordinating it, putting it all together. And so everybody wanted to talk to me. And people love to talk about things they know about.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm here to learn from you guys.
Right.
You're the wine experts, not me. So show me what's up. And everybody's like, oh, try this, try this, try this. And then next thing you know, people are asking me to come over and check out the vintage wine that they have in their wine cooler that they want to show off and things like that. And so it was just natural getting to know people through, like you said, a common interest. There's always a cup of tea either, So I would say focus on the things that you like.
but just be open to conversation and be open to communicating with women in those things. Don't be worried about like, oh, well, it's not about that. This isn't a dating scene. This is, like you said, softball or something like that, right? Like, don't worry about that. Just start a natural conversation and take it from there and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I think that answers that pretty well. So one of the questions, some people sent me some questions before coming on. And by the way, you guys watching, if you have any kind of questions you want us to address, throw it out there. I will definitely circle back to it, no doubt. So one of the questions that I got was, how do you balance your dating life and your professional life? Especially somebody like yourself. I mean, let's call it what it is. In large part, you're paid to be attractive, right? So, how you balance. I'm in the same boat. I get paid to be attractive. But how do you balance that? And I see you, Persia. I'm gonna circle back to that.
So how do I balance that? I think one thing that most people don't really know about me, they perceive me a certain way based on the fact that I have a large social media following. And I think a lot of times they think I'm going to be one way. A lot of things that I've heard from people is like stuck up or very into myself or things like that. And I'm from the Midwest. I'm very laid back, not like that at all. I would consider myself like extremely humble. I really could care less about my Instagram following. It's really just something that naturally happened on its own. It's not something that I'm striving for years or anything like that. Just kind of happened being in the sports profession, being a girl. My following just started to naturally grow on its own.
Right.
But I think for me, when it comes to a relationship and balancing it with that, I definitely have to date somebody who's very secure, because I know that, not that I've ever been disloyal in a relationship with anybody, but there are some things that come along with dating somebody that's in a profession like I am, and I know that. But so I think somebody that's definitely very secure is like what I usually go for, and I try to balance it by, I'm really relationship oriented though. So if I'm really into somebody, I'm really into them, and I put it out there too. So like, I don't really, it's not too hard of a balance for me, just because my personal life is my personal life and Instagram's just Instagram to me. So it's not,
I got you.
Yeah. Doesn't really have too much on what's going on in my real life.
Yeah, no doubt. No, and that makes sense, and it's cool that you're able to make the distinction between the two, So Persia, Prince of Persia, he had asked, he was saying, could I do a mock approach and then you give me your feedback on that approach, all right? So here's the deal. Generally speaking, when you go to, like, most places that I meet women are going to be at a club or a bar. I mean, that's not just that, but that's where I'm at, so that's what's going to happen, right? So typically women are going to be in a group. I mean, when's the last time you went to the club by yourself?
Ever.
Like ever, So what I'm going to do is I am going to address your whole group. So say if it's you and two of your friends, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to not walk up to you directly. I'm going to walk up to your group directly. And I'm going to say what I like to do is usually throw out some kind of asking an opinion about something. So in other words, I might say something to the effect of like, hey, listen, real quick, me and my guy friends are over there. We were just having a conversation. And, I really need a random female's opinion on this because, we're a bunch of guys talking and, we just need a girl's take on this. So let me just ask you, who do you think lies more, men or women?
Honest, men. I would say men, for sure.
And why would you say that?
I don't know, because I don't have the best track record with guys.
All right. Well, here, let me give you my take on it, and I just want to see if you agree with me real quick. All right. So this is my take. I think that women lie more, but smaller.
Okay.
I think men lie less, but bigger. So in other words, you know, you got your friend sitting here right next to you, and you guys got dolled up to come to the club and all that kind of stuff. Now she's going to ask you, you know, how do I look in this outfit? Now you might be like, you know, yeah, it looks good, but you know it doesn't, you know, and
okay.
you know,
yeah,
you want to make her feel good, right? Mm-hmm. And so where a guy might say something to the effect of like, I'm gonna go play poker, all right? Well, what he's not telling you is it's strip poker at the strip club.
He's not.
All right, so right, exactly. Yeah, so that would be my approach. And see, the reason I'm doing it that way is because I'm trying to get your whole group involved.
Right.
And things like that. And it's non-threatening. It's not like, hey, girl, you're super cute. Right. You know, and I'm trying to win over and make all of you guys like me, you know, or at least accept me as being a part of your group. And then I can start shifting it into other directions from there.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you know, so that's classically what I do. You know, what kind of club is this? Hey, man, it's any club, you know, anywhere, you know. So, but so that was Prince of Persia's question. Let's see, another question that I had gotten before coming on with you is, what is your like a first date? What's like a perfect first date for you?
Well, should I give a prime example of actually what my best first date has ever been? Because it was pretty perfect.
Yeah.
Good, perfect first date. So I guess this guy took me to a awesome restaurant, got drinks, had food, really pretty.
Okay.
Here in Scottsdale, is in the desert. So that, starting it off, good food, good drinks. In my mind, that's always a good way to go. Then we walked around a little bit, and then he told me to bring a blanket, and I was like, I don't know before, but okay. So we get in the car, and he's like, you brought the blanket, right? I was like, yeah. Like, what are we doing? And he like parks at this middle school in out here, and he's like, all right, get out of the car. And I'm like, okay. Like, we get out, and we're walking for like 15 minutes. And I'm like, where the hell is this guy taking me? And we're like walking through the desert, literally.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like, but I was just like, I'm just going to go with this. And
okay.
Walk out. We're still walking. And all of a sudden the area like opens up that we're in. And it's this beautiful like swimming hole with like a waterfall. And to bring the blanket because we like laid the blanket down, looked at the stars, and he brought wine. And so drank some wine at the swimming hole area, sat there. It was absolutely beautiful. It was like up in the mountains. And then after that, we get in his car, and he knows that I like to sing. His friend has a studio. So he took me to his friend's music studio, and we sang karaoke, and I got to like actually record it and everything. It was super.
Oh, no. All right. No,
it was a very good date. It was very like semi-personalized to me, very fun. Obviously, like him and I already knew that we had somewhat of a connection too. It wasn't my first time meeting him, so it was a little bit easier to get along with it. But that was probably like my ideal first date because it was very well thought out and fun, and like was kind of personalized to me, so it made it better. Like so it was great.
Yeah. Someone asked what your go-to karaoke song is. I have mine.
What's Up by the Four Non Blondes is my go-to karaoke.
Classic early 90s. Mine's the same time frame, but different genre. I always go with Jump Around by House of Pain.
Okay.
That's my go-to. And somebody had commented earlier, how can you have that long of a conversation in the club? Look, dude, here's the deal. Here's how you can do it. firstly, your body language, the way you present yourself, the eye contact that you have with everybody, and the tonality in which you speak. Now, I am a loud talker. Okay, I have a booming voice when I want to. All right, and so it's a little bit easier for me in that context, but it is something that anybody can work on to have a more articulate and just the tonality to carry over the music and everything like that, and it hold everybody's attention. Plus, I'm very gestury, you know what I mean? A lot of hand gestures and stuff. So, you know, I can hold people's attention for a little while at least, you know. So,
right.
What's a good way to keep conversation going when you're running out of topics to talk on? What do you think?
Oh, that's kind of hard for me to answer because, I mean, in the profession that I work in, I ask people questions like literally all the time, and I kind of feel like that's my forte. It's like very hard for me to have awkward silences with people because I kind of don't show.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can always think of something to talk about or a topic to bring up. So I don't really ever have that problem per se.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and I see you, Gerald. That's a good question. I will circle back to that. Yeah, you know, here's the deal with conversational topics. Usually, what I'm looking to do is I'm looking for conversational threads. So, in other words, like earlier when I was talking about approaching, and I did that, you know, the whole approach that I typically do. Okay, so you start giving me, you know, what you guys think and blah, blah, blah. What I'm going to say is like, all right, thanks, guys. Definitely appreciate that. Now that I know that I won, you know, I have bragging rights, but I'm going to head back over to my table. But real quick before I go, how do you guys all know each other? And then you're going to be like, oh, well, we're friends from school or friends from work or we're family or we're here from out of town or whatever it is that you say.
Right.
So now I have conversational threads to work with, right? Oh, really? What school did you go to? You seem like an ASU type of girl. You know, I can start.
I'm not an ASU girl, but.
Well, all right. You seem like one. So, no, but now I have things to work with. I have conversational threads to work on. You know, if you know each other from work. Oh, really? What are you guys in the, I don't know, whatever. You know, I can work on it from there. And then from there, other conversational threads are going to open. So you're always looking for, you know, they present something, then you talk about that for a little bit.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, conversational threads. And then, like, look, here's the thing, too. There's always things going on around you. Hey, did you see that dude he was wearing Crocs and sandals and was holding an alligator? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's always things going on around you as long as you're observant.
Right.
You know, you're wearing a Cubs hat right now. Is that your dad's hat? That's your dad's hat, isn't it?
Heck no, this is mine.
Is it fitted? It can't be with your hair.
It is. No, it's not fitted. No.
Okay. It's snapback. All right. But
all cap, so.
You know, now we're both wearing baseball hats. We can talk about baseball. You know what I mean? Or something relating to sports on some level. You know, something. You know, so that's what I mean is as long as you're observant, there's always things to talk about. Right? So somebody asked, it was way back there in the chat, but they said something to the effect of, do women look for sexual tension as much as guys do? What's your take on that?
I guess does he mean like what? I don't know exactly what he means by that question. Oops, sorry, my phone just fell again.
Your fan's a little dusty.
There we go. Got it now.
Oh, yeah.
Does he mean like I don't know really. Like I don't know exactly what he means by that question. Meaning like guys can tell if there's sexual tension more between a girl and them. Like look for.
I think what he means by that is, you know, 9 times out of 10, a guy is going to try to, I mean, they might try to play the nice guy role and things like that, but 9 times out of 10, they're going to try to shift it, or at least want to. Maybe they don't know how to, but they want to shift it in a sexual direction. You know what I mean? In some sort of a sexual direction, some way. All right. And they're looking to do that because that's excitable to them. I think what he's trying to say is, do women look for that same type of dynamic?
Honestly, me, no. If a guy came up and shifted the conversation after knowing me for an hour to a sexual conversation, I'd be like, goodbye. No. I would be like, that's creepy, and I would not be into it at all. So I would say no. I as a girl, I never shift the conversation that direction, ever.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Maybe I'm misinterpreting his question, but I think that's the way that...
Because I didn't really know what he meant by it, so I was like, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I was like, I would say no, but that's just me. I don't know. Other girls might be different, but...
Well, look, everybody's different, right? So there's that. But what I would say is, if you're coming right out the gate trying to be Merv the Perv or something like that, you're coming right out of the gate with that, yeah, it's probably not going to work out for you too well, I think...
So this is kind of not being in a per se, like, one-on-one meeting in person scene, but, like, I know guys that will try to slide into my DMs. If they go off the bat and they're trying to be sexual, I'm never going to respond to you. Like,
right.
They're weird. If a guy's asking me a genuine question, there's a much better chance I'm going to respond to that than there is you being like, sexy.
Of course.
Like that. Yeah. I'm not going to answer that. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. And, I have to believe that the guys that are doing that, they don't actually think that you're going to respond back like, oh yeah, sounds good, I'm on my way.
But you never know. I
don't. This is the equation, kind of, that I like to phrase something like, when we're talking about attraction like that. Trust equals respect equals attraction. So you don't want to put the cart before the horse and just, just try to bam, hey girl, you want to knock it out real quick? No, nobody wants to hear that. You have to maintain or at least gain her trust and then gain respect through that trust in order for her to be attracted to you. Now maybe you can move it in that direction. If she's up for that and you're up for that and that kind of thing. But
explained what he meant.
Yeah. Well, I saw something scroll by here. Hold on, let me pull this up here.
I was trying to say.
Oh, he's got it right here.
Yeah, that guys most of the time go out to get laid. Do girls do that too on a night out? Hope that makes sense.
All right, well, that's a little more clear. That clears it up a little bit.
I would say I don't think that's every girl's approach a lot when they're going out, but I do think there are instances where girls are definitely going out.
Sure.
And I don't think that that's not happening. I think it probably happens less than it does with guys, but I think it still probably happens.
Yeah, for sure. I would think so. But here's the thing. Again, I don't think that most girls are like, all right, I'm gonna go be a whore tonight. Or what I mean? I don't think that that happens all that often. I think that what more often than not, if they're single and they're getting out to try to meet guys, all right, they're looking to build a connection, to form a connection.
I agree.
Not form a let's all get in each other's pants. Right. They're trying to form a connection with somebody that they potentially could see as in a relationship or whatever that looks like. I think that that's probably the goal for them. I've heard it said before that women are the gatekeepers to sex, and then men are the gatekeepers to relationships.
So
yeah. So I mean, they're looking to try to, more often than not everybody, again, not try to paint with a broad brush. I'm just, I guess, speaking in generalities, but, most women are looking for a relationship with somebody on some level, at least a connection of some sort,
right.
Not just the physical, right?
I would agree with that for sure.
Yeah. So, hey guys, listen, if you have any kind of questions in regards to dating or relationships, throw it out there. We're happy to answer it.
Somebody wrote, how do you ask? What did he write? He wrote it up here. All men do. He wrote, how do I ask a woman way out of my league on a date?
That's a good question. What's your take on that?
I like to say that I don't think that anybody is out of anybody's league. Like, you might think that somebody is better looking than you, or maybe smarter than you, or has a way better job than you, or in whatever way. But I always feel like you might be, if you want to use the words, out of someone's league in a different aspect that they don't have. Like, so I would like to think, I don't think anybody's out of anybody's league. I think anybody could get a date with anybody if it's truly like meant to be and like work out. Like, why not? I guess like what he's probably saying is he's probably meaning like a girl that physically he thinks is way out of his league than he is. I guess my best approach, I guess, in that sense would be to, again, I think, try to talk to them about something that you know that they're interested in. Approach it from a way of talking to them about something that they find interesting, and then maybe after formulating some conversation and you're going back and forth and things are flowing well, then you ask them out. Like, what do you have to the worst somebody's going to tell you is no. That's what I always say. Like, who cares? If they tell you no, they tell you no. Like,
yeah. You touched on 2 points there that I think are super important. The first one being what you ended with. Rejection is not that big of a deal. It's really not. Like, look, everybody gets rejected. It happens. I was just talking to somebody recently that is a backup dancer and in videos and things like that for Justin Bieber. All right. And her and Justin Bieber were having a conversation, and he was telling her about all the times that he's been rejected. Like, now I'm sure that he's not hurting in the romance department, but the thing is, he gets rejected.
Right. Rejected. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not the end of the world. Does it suck? Does it sting? Yeah, sure, I guess a little bit,
I think it depends. If it's somebody that you're just going up to at the bar and they say no, like, to me, that would not like really hurt my ego. I'd be like, whatever. Maybe if it was somebody who had been like longing to ask out for a long time and you had been trying, then maybe it would hurt a little more. But for me, I'd be like, meh, move on.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If you walk up to somebody at a bar and you start talking and she's just like, oh, I'm not interested or whatever. Like, what does she really know about you?
Right.
You had a 30-second conversation.
Right.
Here's a 30-second snapshot into who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's nothing.
Right.
Right? So, she really doesn't know you. She doesn't know anything about you aside from the 30-second interaction that you just had.
Right.
Now, here's the deal. In regards to dating out of your league, I'm not a big advocate of the whole league concept. All right. Here's the deal. If you are able to communicate your best self to people, it won't be a problem.
Exactly.
Does it mean that every girl that's just insanely attractive is going to be throwing themselves at you? No, of course it doesn't. But the thing is that, you are putting yourself in a much better position, in a much better, there's just a far stronger chance that, like, look, you talk to 10 different girls, if one of them even is like, yeah, cool, you seem like cool people, let's hang out, blah, 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 then the other 9 didn't matter. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's my take on it. It's just, It's not about leagues. It's the way that you present yourself, the way you carry yourself, the way you communicate your intrinsic values, who you are, your best self, not just yourself. I think that that's some of the worst dating advice on the planet. Just be yourself. Yeah, I get it, but it's not about being yourself. It's about being your best self and being able to communicate that and present that value.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I saw like about 5 things go by. Let's see here. If you're awkward, use Bumble and have a conversation for more controlled, less awkward conversations. Well, if you're awkward, I would say that that would be cause for you to probably work on your communication skills, work on your body language, the way you present yourself, kind of circling back to what we were saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
you know.
If you're going to have a conversation on Bumble, I guess that's fine. But at some point, aren't you going to have to meet them in person and have a conversation? So.
True. I mean, that would be the hope. Otherwise, why are you on there? You know? So yeah, guys, give any kind of questions, throw them out there. We're happy to chop it up with you. Happy to make it happen. You know? So any kind of dating or relationship questions. Another question that we had got is, what is it that, what is it, you know, beyond like looks, you know what I mean? Or something like that. But what first impression can a guy make to you that stands out to you that would make him attractive in your eyes? Uh-oh. Kind of broke up there a little bit. I see your question, Gerald. I will circle back to that. How do you... Oh, I think... No, it's not over. I promise. I think that there was some kind of glitch on her end, and you know, if she pops back up in here, I will bring her up. But yeah, you know, here's the deal, man. You know, post COVID, you know, once things are back from shutdown, and a lot of places they are, and that sort of thing. You know, I think that I don't think it's going to change. To be quite honest, when it comes to dating, I've already seen that she left for her date. That's funny. I don't think things are going to change all that much. You know, she melted the phone. You know, I go out every weekend. I take students out with me, and I've not seen any difference in you know, in the way that people interact and the way that people communicate with each other. It's basically exactly the same. You missed my question up top. Re-ask it, dude. You know, I must have missed it, and I can't. It's hard to scroll through the chat board on the phone and all that stuff. So if you can repost it, I will definitely tackle it. So yeah, throw that back out there. But listen, guys, definitely. Oh. There she is. She's back. All right. Just waiting for her to pop back up. So, yeah. Definitely appreciate you guys watching, though, for sure.
I got a phone call in my phone, like, obviously.
People were like, she left for her date.
I don't look very date ready right now, but.
So, one question that we got was, you know, what do you see different about dating, you know, past COVID? Once things kind of like really start opening up and shutdowns are, you know, pretty much a thing in the past, do you anticipate any kind of changes? You know, I kind of answered it already, but what do you think?
Gosh. I don't know if I really see anything being that different. I feel like
exactly
pretty much exactly the same as it was before. I feel like a lot of people might be more eager to date just because they've all been cooped up for so long, like be wanting to go out and meet people.
Yeah.
Maybe
People
are. I keep at least saying that if you don't come out of Corona with some type of new skill or
Yeah, I'm with you.
Something, like, you're clearly not doing this whole quarantining thing correctly.
No, I'm with you 100% on that. I started this Modern Valor Dating when quarantine started.
Awesome.
And so, I mean, I think that we're growing pretty quickly, to be honest. How do I approach a girl with a good opener to break the ice and end up getting the number? Any boys in the chat got any good ideas? So, what's your thoughts on that?
How do I approach a girl with a good opener to break the ice? A good opener for me is just like, don't give me any weird cheesy pickup line. Got it. I'm like, no, thank you. Again, nothing like sexual or weird. That's off.
Right.
I honestly just think like coming up again and like just talking to me, like being normal, like you said, asking a question, something like that, getting a conversation started. That's most probably going to get like you my number.
Yeah, here's the deal. Again, like you said, I think, asking just a random question, something different that other guys don't do. You know what I mean? That kind of thing, like, oh, hi, you're pretty. My name's Dale. But if you start a conversation and things like that, and you have a nice little convo going. One of the things that I like to do when going to get a number is I'll say something to the effect of like, listen, I've got to get going. Gotta keep it moving here. So, but I really want to keep this conversation going. What's the best way that we can make that happen?
Right.
And then 9 times out of 10, the girl's like, oh, take my number.
Yeah.
So it was her idea. I didn't have to ask.
Great. That's actually a really good idea. Yeah.
So yeah. And look, here's the deal. Sometimes she might be like, oh, well, let's, exchange Instagrams or Facebook or whatever. And that's fine too. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You can still communicate and all that kind of thing. I mean, I prefer a number. But if that's what it is, that's what it is, So, I like your style, but you're not my type. I think that was his opener. People are just throwing out their openers right now. So, okay. So what I was asking you before you got that phone call was, what is it about a guy that you ask her for MySpace info? What is it about a guy that, I guess is something that's impressive to you, that you would find attractive, that is something outside of the box, outside of the norm, besides like, okay, he's conventionally good looking or something like that, but, like a character trait or something about their personality or the way they dress or something. Like, what is it for you?
I have 3 very big things that I definitely look for that are extremely attractive to me in guys. One is ambition and somebody with drive for something. I don't care what your passion's for, as long as it is for something, because I like people that have their own things going for them as well. So that's a huge thing for me. It's probably like the number 1 thing for me. Number 2 is I always look for people that, like, if you're talking to me about your family and your friends and stuff like that, that's always a good sign to me, because I'm big on people that value relationships, whether that's family, friends, or romantic. That's really important to me. And then 3rd is outgoing people. Like I said, I'm really outgoing. I never want to be with somebody that I'm hand holding. Like, I take you to a party and I have to be right with you, talking.
Right.
So I like people who can make their own friends, can communicate, can talk, all that kind of stuff. So. Yeah,
no doubt. You touched on passion, and I've had a lot of different guys, express to me that they're like, hey, listen, I'm a gamer, or I'm into, Star Wars, or I'm into, and, girls always think that's nerdy and they're not going to like that and blah, blah, blah. And my response to that is, dude, look, it's not about what you're into. It's about the passion behind it. She wants to see your passion.
Right.
So don't say, what it is that you're into. Tell her the reason behind why you're into it.
Yeah.
One time somebody asked me, something along those lines, and I tried to come up with, like, to me, what I think is just like the dorkiest thing that I could think of. And what it was, grown men that have model trains, play with model trains. Like, to me, this is ridiculous. But the thing is that, I went into this story, and I'm not going to do the whole story because it takes a while. But the thing is that I was explaining to them, like, all right, say I'm a guy that's into model trains, and I tell you about how, growing up, we didn't have much as a family and things like that. And for Christmas, my parents got me a model train set, and it was the one thing that I had a connection with my dad over. And, my dad passed away. And so playing, having those model trains reminds me of my dad and the quality time that we spent together. That's going to land so much better than if she's like, well, what are you into? Model trains. Yeah. Got my line now right here.
Totally.
Yeah, it's gonna come off well, but please do tell the whole story. It's a 20-minute story. I've said it now about 50 times in like coaching sessions and things like that. So it's way too long to do right now. Maybe another time. I thought I missed a question. All right, I guess not. All right, so another thing that you touched on there was being outgoing, and like you don't want to be a package deal everywhere that you go.
Right.
Yeah. And that's another thing that I try to reinforce with guys that I'm working with and things like that is even if you're an introverted kind of person and you're not the most outgoing, I think it's important to at least have social skills to mask that for at least a period of time. You don't have to be introverted 100%. I mean, I don't think anybody's introverted 100% of the time or extroverted 100% of the time. There's always a little bit of a mix,
right. Yeah.
And, just being able to have that social savvy to communicate with people and, have some interesting things to say and that sort of thing, So, hey, guys, if you have any kind of questions, throw them out. How much time do we got here? We've got about 13 minutes. So, we got time for one or two more questions, but I do have another question here. So, what to you is one of the ways that okay, so like a guy comes up and approaches you and starts talking to you. What's one of the ways, outside of saying something overtly sexual, what's one of the ways that you would automatically just be like, I'm out of here. I'm done,
Oh, maybe anything also, like anything that gets into like something political right away would be like. Also, anything like that, I'd probably be like, I'm out. Anything like I said sexual, I'd be like, I'm out of here.
Right.
Gosh. Anything, I don't know. Those are probably my two main things, I would say.
Are you a registered voter? That maybe that should be the opener.
Yeah. Sure. Like, I have a good one. I have something that recently just happened to me. Like,
okay.
And I was like, what? I ordered DoorDash. I'm in my pajamas. I actually just finished recording my podcast, and I got some pizza. It's probably like 11 at night, and the DoorDash driver calls me, and he is like, "Hey, I can't find where you're at." Explain to him like how to get here, whatever. I'm standing on my back porch waiting for him, and he like walks up, and he's like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hi." So, do you smoke weed? And I'm like, what? And I was like, was like, you're delivering me my pizza right now. Like, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm like so confused. And I was like, what? And he's like, do you? And I just like looked at him, I'm like, is there a reason you're asking me this? He's like, well, I was going to ask if you wanted to like chill, eat the pizza, and smoke weed. And I just like looked at him and I was like, no. And I was like, go inside now. Have a good night. And I like walked into my room and I was like, that was weird. So I guess like anybody that approaches something with something weird like that, like I was like, you don't even know. I guess you might know my name since you're my DoorDash driver, but like, no, I am. Like, what do you think? I'm like, yeah, come on in. Like, I was like, I don't know. It was really odd to say.
But did you tip him?
I gave him $1. So I was like, that guy's probably, the guy who just said that he's probably watched too much porn is probably right. Because I was like, approach was that. I was like, I've had some weird and horrible dates and like horrible pickup lines, but that one was pretty bad. I was very confused.
Somebody did ask earlier, they asked, what is the worst date that you've ever been on?
Oh, I have a great story. It was a Hinge date. This is a while ago.
Okay.
It was a Hinge date. Actually, it was like my second Hinge date I had ever been on. So I was like, it was very new to me. And he asked me out. He offered to pick me up because he's like, I do the gentlemanly thing. And like, I shouldn't have let him pick me up, honestly, just because nowadays you never know. And it's get out of a situation if it sucks too, if they didn't drive you there. So he picks me up. And as soon as I got in the car, I just immediately was like, this is not, like, I just knew right away the vibe. I was like, this is not going to be good. This awkward side hug. He introduces himself as Ryan, but his Hinge profile name said Campbell. So I was like, why do you have a different name? And he was like, oh, that's because I don't want my younger female employees to know I'm on dating sites. I was just like, well, they can see your picture still. Like, I was just like, okay, whatever. Then he proceeds to, oh, sorry. My dog
is Ryan there?
got excited. But then he proceeds to tell me that I asked him something about his age because he looked a lot older than his pictures. I was like, how old are you? And he looks at me and kind of starts laughing. And he's like, how old did my profile say? And I was like, you? And he just like laughed. And he's like, I'm 40. And I was like, very taken aback, mostly because he lied. And that's what kind of me. Why not just say, how old you were? And he was like, plus, how am I going to get the younger hot chicks? And I was like, this is not going where it Then proceeds to tell me it got worse. He used to work in plastic surgery. And I was like, oh, cool. What'd you do? And he was like, I was an assistant to a doctor. And I was like, oh, very cool. And then he's like staring at me hard. And I was like, it felt very uncomfortable. And I was just like, what? And he's like, well, I'd have to say, I don't think you have any work done. And that's how I knew that your boobs were real. And I was like, what? So thrown off. He's like, because I played with a lot of fake ones inside and outside the office. That's exactly what he said. Like, you're fucking creepy, dude. And it got worse because by the time we got to the restaurant, I walked out of the car after he said that. And then he made a comment about how short I was and about me being spinner size, which I didn't know what a spinner was, but he proceeded to tell me. So
you know now.
I found out, and I was like, I really don't want to be here. So I went in the bathroom as soon as I got in the restaurant, and I called my friend, and I was like, you have to come and get me because I'm not sitting through a dinner with this guy. Like, he sounds like a creep. I'll be right there. I get out of the bathroom, and I go and I tell him, hey, it was really nice to meet you, but I just don't think we're really vibing, and some of the stuff you said made me uncomfortable. And he was like, okay, no problem. Nice to meet you. He leaves. So I was like, oh, that was easy. Whatever.
Yeah.
2 minutes later, and he's like, by the way, should have added doesn't have a sense of humor to your profile. And I texted back, and I was like, you are a weirdo. You should have used your real name and age. Like, are you... I was just like, that was definitely the worst date. I didn't even get to the date, clearly, because I wasn't even going to do that. I was like, I'm not even involved myself with it. It was terrible. So
good times.
that was definitely my worst date. I've had some bad ones. That was definitely the worst, though.
I've had one where a drug bust happened. It was.
God.
Yeah. As it turned out, it was my first time meeting this girl, and it was like through Tinder, I think. And I pick her up, and we get pulled over by the cops. And turns out she had just got released from prison, like not even a week from the time I met her,
Wow.
and it was due to drug trafficking. And all these cops ended up pulling up, and I was like,
oh my gosh, that's wild.
Yeah, I could go on and on. Like, I had a girl fake a suicide to try to get in touch with me.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, first she faked cancer, then she faked her own suicide.
Wow.
To try to get my attention, So, for some reason, I feel somewhat of a sense of pride over that, but
yeah. Wild.
Yeah, I mean, definitely some bizarre happenings. You know what I mean? Let's see what this time looks like. All right, so oops. All right, so we're gonna wrap this one up, but I want everybody that is watching to follow Taylor at Shy Sports Chick here on Instagram. And what's your YouTube channel?
YouTube channel is Beauty in the Baseball, or if you just search Taylor Mathis YouTube on Google too, it'll come up.
Fair enough. Does anybody actually call you T-Math?
That was my nickname in high school. So yeah, that's kind of where that came from. Not so much.
Okay.
Nobody really calls me that anymore.
Not even Ryan or the weed guy, the weed pizza guy.
No.
All right, cool. Well, listen, I definitely appreciate you coming on with me. It was super fun. It was a good time. And yeah, so everyone go follow her, send her a shout out, all that good stuff. So we will see you in the next one. Salute.
Bye.